and this is Altra Torin 7. Yeah. Oh, before we start with the review, watch this. Hello, welcome to my channel, Aubrey Running, and on Instagram, Aubrey.running. Please do consider following me on there. If you're new to the channel, I'm a very average runner, simply trying to be less average by the day. And whilst trying to be less average, I love reviewing running shoes. And on this one, we're talking Altra's latest release, the Torin 7. My first running specific shoe was the Torin 4.5. So this one has a special place in my heart. Let's start talking about it. Let's talk about the stats and the changes they've made from version 6 to version 7. The first thing I want to talk about, and this here is very unique. Version 7 launching cheaper than version 6. When version 6 launched, it was £140 here in the UK, whereas this is launched at 130. It's £10 down. Not many brands are doing this. Well done, Altra. The second thing is the stack height. They've gone from 28mm in version 6. This is now 30, so adding on 2 extra millimeters. And lastly, the weight. How the heck have they added 2 more millimeters but made it 5 grams lighter? You see, version 6 was 280 grams. Now this is 275. This is the kind of story you want to talk about when you talk about updating a shoe. Altra Running, well done on this one. Okay, so let's start with the review. Break the shoe down, just a normal conversation. We have to start with the elephant in the room, and that is zero drop. Okay, you can go away now. All right, cheers. And they call it balanced cushioning. I like that concept, and let me explain. If you take your shoe off, your foot has zero drop. Simple. And I accept it. That if you take on a zero drop shoe, it comes with a learning curve. But if you can get along with one, honestly, it's amazing. Simply because if you land on your midfoot or your forefoot, why would you want less cushioning at the front than you have at the back? So for me, I want 30mm at the front too. That's why I love the Torin 7, because that cushioning is consistent all the way through. And that to me is what zero drop means. Let's move on. The one thing I truly love about Altra though, is that toe box, the foot shape. Here we go with the text again. I like that actually. I might keep that. The toe box. If you look at the shape of this shoe, Altra takes particular care in giving you a spaced out toe box, but for some reason it doesn't feel loose. And that's because they've taken your foot shape. You see, when you put your foot down, your toes naturally want to splay out. Running shoes, sadly, restrict that, and it can be unnatural. Now look, Altra have been amazing in supporting this channel. I'm only a small channel. I've got 3,320 subscribers at the time of filming this, and they send me out stuff for review. Like this has been sent in. The only reason I say that is I don't want you thinking, because they've sent this in, I'm going to go easy and just say all the nice things about the shoe. But the one thing I would love to see Altra do to this shoe is completely throw it upside down. Give it a newer, a modern look, because only when they do that will this shoe look as good as it performs. And that to me will be a good looking shoe. Okay, so section number 1 of the review is the heel. Let's talk about it. Baby's got back. Well, the heel kind of bends back is what I mean. And that shape kind of speaks to how well it holds your Achilles and your ankle in the shoe. I've done an easy run, an interval session. I didn't have any heel slip issues. I didn't need to do any runner's knot. It just works. Next up, section 2 is the Torin 7's tongue. Altra, bro, give us some gusseting action. The tongue's not gusseted, meaning it's very loose. It's not attached into the inside of the shoe. What they have done is given the top of the tongue a space for the laces to kind of loop in, and that's going to help hold that tongue in place. But me personally, I will always have a preference for a shoe to have its tongue gusseted. Maybe on the next one, Altra. Staying with the tongue, the other thing I love about it is they've hit the sweet spot between it not being too padded and not being one of those flimsy, thin ones. It's just right. Okay, and then the next thing, what do I think about the Torin 7's lacing system? They've kept it simple. Now listen, running shoe brands, listen. Come up with some strong laces, tick. Put holes in the upper, holes, not funky strings or anything like that. No, holes in the upper, and make those holes strong enough that when you're tying up the laces, these little eyelet hoop things don't come off. That's what they've done here. You know that TikTok guy that goes, okay, so let's talk about the upper. I was very worried, I won't lie to you. When you look at the shoe, it does look very thick and warm, but I want to assure you, it's an engineered mesh, and in all of those sections where you're seeing the ripples, in those sections, they're actually perforated, making the shoe very breathable. The UK has been slightly warm, hot, UK standards that is, and I've done a long session, I've done an interval session, and the shoes performed really well. All right, so next, my favorite section of the review, and it has to be what they're calling Ego Max, that midsole. What you need to know is there is Ego, which is cushioned, but firm, and then Ego Max is the plushier version. Again, me describing that to you doesn't really describe what it feels like. So let me tell you what shoes this shoe feels like running in. It gives me Cloud Surfer 7 vibes. It gives me not Gel Nimbus, but Gel Cumulus kind of feeling. It gives me the Gel Nimbus 24 vibes. I'm telling you now, it's a good cushion. It is perfect for your long runs. It's gonna be perfect for your easy run. Do you know what? They put out the Via Olympus, which is their max cushion shoe. I find this much more comfortable. I find this to be much plushier. I would ask you to give it a go. Okay, so let's turn the shoe over and talk about the outsole. That is a cool outsole. Now, most outsoles, the focus is how grippy is it. I'm gonna tackle that second. The first thing we need to talk about is how this shoe emulates the anatomy of your foot. If you look at the lines there, they're basically trying to give you an external foot structure, and those straight bits allow the shoe to do that. Second to last thing to talk about, who is this shoe for and should you buy it? If you're looking for a neutral road running shoe that is well cushioned, and I'm talking world-class cushioning, more importantly, at £130 price point, this will be a daily trainer to go to. The last thing we're going to talk about, and possibly the biggest criticism of this shoe, is the Tesco test. For those of you not too familiar with this, would you wear this shoe doing other things apart from what it's designed for? I.e. go into Tesco, Walmart, Asda, whatever your supermarket is called. And for me, I think they need to radically transform the look of this shoe. It has resemblances of the previous version, and we've talked about the upgrades they've made. It's launched much cheaper. They've added 2 more mil stack to the height. It weighs less, 5 grams less. Yes, great changes. The next change I think they need to make to this shoe is radically transform how it looks.